Hey, what's up guys? Adam here, and in this video, we're going to be taking a look at 5 ways that you can improve your credit score. Now, for those that don't know what a credit score is essentially a measurement that is used by banks and loan companies to see how much of a risk you will be if you decide to take out a loan with them. Now, the ironic thing is that having a history of constant debt is usually perceived as a bad thing within society. I mean, I've talked about the idea of having bad debt several times on this channel already, things like personal loans, car finance, credit cards, that sort of thing. However, you do need to have some history of borrowing so that these banks and loan companies can see and assess your habits whilst you're borrowing that money, especially if you're taking something out, a large product such as a mortgage. Now, it's also funny again that somebody who may have no history of borrowing whatsoever but could be in really good financial standing, they will actually appear worse off in the eyes of the bank or the loan company versus somebody who has borrowed on a regular basis, but their financial standing might not be as good as the person with no financial history. Now, that's not to say go out and take out a huge loan so you can prove to the bank that you can pay it off. It's more about having smaller things on your credit, such as car insurance, car tax, a mobile phone contract, small things like that, that will help slowly build up your credit score just so the bank or the loan company has something to work off. Now, there are actually 4 main providers that will give you some form of a credit score, and these are Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, and a newcomer to the game, ClearScore. Now, I would recommend that you sign up to at least 3 out of the 4 of these companies so you can actually triangulate your findings and actually come towards an average for your score, because the loan companies and the banks are not just going to be looking at one particular company for your credit, they are also going to be triangulating as well. So in order to get the most accurate score possible, I recommend that you at least download or at least take a look into 3 of these different credit providers. Now, that sums up the credit score, but the real important piece of information that you're going to need is going to be your full credit report, because this is where you're going to find any disparities, any errors, any pending cases that may be taking place against your credit. And once again, this is where the banks and the lending companies are going to be looking as well. They're not just going to take your credit score on face value, they're going to be looking in your credit report. Now, I'm not saying you have to look into your credit report on a daily basis, but I would recommend that you look at it at least once a month and make any changes that need to be made, because it's usually once a month when your credit score actually gets updated. Now, I will leave the relevant links in the description down below so you can take a further look into some of these credit report and credit score providers. And if you want to get a free version of your credit report, I highly recommend that you sign up to a site called moneysavingexpert.com, because if you sign up using that and join the credit club, you'll get a free version of your Experian credit report without having to sign up with Experian directly and pay their monthly premium. So with all that out of the way, let's get to the very first method. So the very first method is to get on the electoral roll. So essentially, the electoral roll is basically your right to vote within the country, and lenders like to use that as a way to see or to verify that you are who you say you are. Now, it's very easy to do. I'll leave a link in the description of how you can sign up to the electoral roll. But once again, its main purpose is to literally give you your right to be able to vote in certain elections within the UK. And it's also used to make sure that you're not someone who's going to fly under the radar. It also helps these loan companies find out where your address is and what your name is, just to make sure, once again, you are who you say you are and they can chase you up if need be. The second method is to make sure you pay your bills on time. Now, this may sound like common sense, but it is really important that when you take out a loan, you make the monthly payments on time and when you agree to make those payments. Having a couple of late payments on your statement can really affect your overall credit score. Now, usually I would say when budgeting, it is important to pay yourself first. Still do this, but make sure you have your expenses and, most importantly, your debts set on direct debit. So as soon as you get paid, that will immediately leave your income or leave your account, and you don't have to worry about it later down the line. Now, personally, I would avoid making any payments via post. This can sometimes introduce delays to the process. Also, it's going to be another manual step that you've actually got to go out and do. So you got to go and get the money, take it out from, say, an ATM, put it in an envelope, go and post it, or even write a check and post it. It's just going to end up discouraging you from paying it on time. That's why I just recommend that you actually set up a direct debit, set and forget about it, and just let the money come out automatically when you get paid. Now, the next method is to avoid making multiple credit applications. Now, every single time you apply for credit, it leaves a footprint on your credit profile, which lenders can see. And if they see that you've made several applications within a very short space of time, this can lead to the impression that you are desperate for credit or financing. Now, lenders see those that are really desperate for financing as being very high risk. And people that are often denied credit on multiple occasions tend to run to payday loans. I remember I mentioned within my 7 Millionaires Habit when I talked about that time when I received a leaflet in the post that was an advertisement for a payday loan company, and the interest rate that was on that loan was well over 200%. So be very careful not to get discouraged if you are, denied credit. The last thing you want to do is go and run to a payday loan provider or a loan shark, as it's called in the US, because that is where they will get you hook, line and sinker. If you do get rejected for credit, it is best to hold off for a while and continue building on your credit score using some of the methods that we're going to be talking about today before you try and apply again. So the next method to improve your credit score is to get your hands on a credit builder card. Now, before you go nuts on me, hear me out. It's not only people that have poor credit that are often rejected from certain loan agreements, it's also those that have no credit. As we discussed earlier in this video, if you've never borrowed money before, you will have no credit history for lenders to go by, and therefore they have no way of telling how responsible you're going to be when you actually take out a loan. So it may be wiser to get your hands on a credit builder card. Now, credit builder card is kind of different to a standard credit card, mainly because number one, the interest rates are generally a lot lower, and also the borrowing limits and things like being able to have an overdraft are not really available on a credit builder card. The idea is to have a very low interest rate, so it will just encourage you just to utilize a bit of borrowing, but make sure that you pay the borrowing back amount, the amount that you borrowed, on time, and make sure you just avoid any late payments when using the credit builder card. So it's really about being responsible with the card and not treating it as a spending spree card or using it as an emergency fund. It's really there just to help you build your credit score up to a much higher level so you have more access or more products that are available for you when it comes to borrowing. Now, you may be someone watching this video who may be against the idea of personal loans completely, even things that sound like they're halfway in the realm of being a credit card. And my suggestion to you is that's going to be perfectly fine. My suggestion is that if you're going to be using the credit builder card, use it for something that you can pay yourself back immediately. Something like your general food shopping, for example, where that you already have the money there for the food, but instead of using your typical debit card, use the credit builder card instead, and then immediately pay the balance back from your debit card back into the credit builder card. And to put that into perspective, if you're already using my zero-based budget template, if you haven't taken a look at that, the link will be in the description down below. You'll already know exactly where your money is going, so you can use that as a guide to see, okay, I'm spending £50 a month on food. I can just simply use that from the credit builder card, and I will know that I have the money there to pay the card back immediately. So the final method to improve your credit score is to check for any errors within your credit report. Now, I said before at the start of the video, the credit score only gives us a small picture of your actual spending. What you really need to be taking a look into is your credit report, because that's going to give you a full breakdown of your spending, any loans that you've taken out, any injunctions, or any other issues that you may have that are pending within the report. Now, it's really important that you read through your credit report in depth. Don't just skim over it. Have a full in-depth read and break down exactly what is in the report. Now, also make sure if anything that stands out as being incorrect, any slight errors here and there, make sure you get them rectified. Don't just sit on them. And also make sure as well you take a look at the pointers, because it does give you some advice on how to improve your credit score. So make sure you take that into consideration. Also, it could be, small errors such as an incorrect address, or you may now be married, but it still may be showing your maiden name. So these are going to be things that you really need to make sure you nip in the bud as soon as possible in order to improve your credit score. Now, the longer you leave any issues on the report, the longer it's going to take for them to get corrected, which once again delays the process of you being able to get better credit or lending options. So as I said before, make sure you get any issues that are on the report rectified as soon as possible, because we all want to get the best possible products that are available for our performance. So anyway guys, that has been my video on 5 ways that you can improve your credit score. A much more short and concise video, but hopefully you found this useful. If you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Give me a like down below. And of course, if you want to see more videos like this where we talk about personal finance, investing, or documenting my journey to financial freedom and wealth building, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below and hit the notification bell so you get the alert when we upload new videos to this channel. Anyway guys, it's been Adam here. Thank you for watching. Take care, and of course, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.